Find a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take a very deep breath. And as you exhale, relax. Feel yourself sinking into the bed or the seat or the floor or the earth, wherever it is that you're sitting or laying. We make decisions all the time. Sometimes those decisions make us question whether or not we're on the right path or that we're doing the right things. Or maybe you even question how things could have been if you'd made the right decision, whatever the right decision is. This is a place of anxiety and worry over something that you can never know the opposite result. It's impossible for your 3D self to know how it would have been or how it could have been. Or if we want to bring expectations into it, how it should have been. So whatever the thing is that you're thinking of as I describe this, take a moment to occupy your thoughts with what would have happened had you made the opposite decision. If you find yourself thinking extremely good thoughts, oh, I would have lived happily ever after if I had made the other decision, then you're leaving out the very distinct possibility that if you had made the other decision, things might not be as good as they are now, or your highest good. So let's go ahead and discard those what ifs, and let's instead look at the truth that is the infinite now, which includes the exact situation that you're in. There's an aspect of your mind that tries to evaluate it, to understand it, to rate it, to judge it. This part of the mind is always looking for the best possible solution, but it's always a survival solution. When you have trust, when you have faith that the decisions that you're making are all meant to be, they are all divine choices, that there is no such thing as a wrong choice, then those woulda, shouldas don't even matter. They're always wrong. So what's the value of experiencing this trust in this absolute unknown future? Well, you're way more powerful than you realize. I want you to picture yourself as this incredible being, giant, 20, 30, 40 times bigger than you are right now, sitting on a huge throne. You can just look out across the land and know that you have complete control and power over absolutely everything that happens. That's the version of yourself that you get a little closer to when you have faith, when you trust that everything is working in divine order. It takes the pressure off. It removes the worries. It allows you to settle in and accept this new path. And what good does that do? Well, imagine yourself being worried, being afraid. How is that going to shape your future as opposed to having confidence, knowing that you're going down the right path, that you are treading the hero's journey, or the journey for your highest good and for the world's highest good? How will you respond and react to everything that you experience? If you're worried, you'll respond in a worried way. You'll try to make safe choices. You'll try to figure out all the things that'll go wrong before they go wrong. And in that way, you'll be focused on what's wrong. You'll be focused on, how do I avoid another mistake? But if you are to say, actually, everything is going according to plan. I know this, I feel this, and I trust that this is absolutely true. Now when you experience things, you don't falter. You don't wonder, you don't question. You just know. And maybe someone challenges you. If you're in the worried state, you're not going to respond very well. But if somebody challenges you and you know that all of your decisions have led you perfectly to where you are right now, then it's so much easier to respond, to handle yourself with grace, to show your confidence and your trust. Having trust in yourself is another huge aspect to this. And this trust in self is destabilized by selective memory. If you think back to your past experience and you decide, well, that didn't go very well, and that didn't go very well, and that was really terrible, and gosh, that brought me a lot of guilt and shame, etc., etc., you'll sum up your entire life that you're not very capable of handling things, and so you won't trust yourself. But unfortunately, that selective memory is very much a part of being a human. We tend to remember the things that have gone wrong so that we can try to avoid them in the future. The problem with this is we forget the things that go right because there's no correction that needs to be made. It went okay. So now the next time you encounter it, you assume that you'll just handle it in the same way and all will be well. Lessons only come from an evaluation that you didn't do it right. So being in that state of trust in self, because you remember that things actually go pretty well a lot of the times. You've made a lot of good decisions in your life. You might have to work really hard to remember them, but they exist, and they exist constantly. You are constantly making good decisions. You are constantly saying the right things. You are constantly doing everything that is divinely guiding you to your highest good, the best path. And so that trust is giving in to the process. It's allowing it to shape itself. Yes, you're involved, but a lot of it happens based on how you feel or how you trust the situation. And then you act in reflection of that trust. So let's try to get there. I'm kind of seeing two versions of you. I want you to picture yourself standing there, but there's two of you. One of you is going to make one decision, and one of you is going to make another. What I'm seeing is that the opposite decision maker version of you evaporates into thin air as soon as it makes the decision opposite of yours. What that represents to me is that version of you never existed and is essentially unimportant. That one that made the decision that is currently alive in this timeline is the only one that matters. So when you judge yourself based on the opposite decision, you're judging it based off of something that just simply doesn't exist. Sometimes you think, well, yeah, but if I hadn't had that drink before I got behind the wheel and got pulled over and got a DUI, that's a pretty obvious decision that if I hadn't had that drink, then that wouldn't have happened. And I can see a very different future. Well, I see one too. It's the one where if you didn't take the drink that time, it just means you would do it again in a future time. And maybe the results would be much worse than just getting a DUI. And maybe it was that DUI that made you realize that you shouldn't be doing this anymore because it's destroying your life instead of helping you. So always remember that no matter what decision you make, it brings you exactly what you need. You can trust in the universe. You can trust in your soul contracts. You can trust in your decision making because your decision making is always divinely guided. So you can trust in that. Good results and bad results are just judgment. All results are for your highest good and the world's. So don't be afraid to take a look at those two versions of you, one of which chose the decision that you didn't make, and one of which chose the decision that you did make. And go ahead and give the one that made the decision that you did make a big hug, because that version of you made the right decision. It always has, it always does, and it always will. You need to do nothing more than trust that that happens correctly every single time. Breath in. Oi! Good. Align yourself with trust. Align yourself with faith. When you know, you have power. When you believe, you have some power. When you hope, boy, you don't have too much power. And when you wish, you have almost no power at all, because you come from a place that doesn't believe that it's possible. The power of trust, the power of faith, is so much more than most people realize. This is your main manifestation generator. This is your confidence. This can even be your unconditional love for self and all. This can be your voice. It can even be your connection to the divine. Especially if trust is necessary in order to make that connection in the first place. As you continue to picture yourself sitting where you're sitting, breathing where you're breathing, feeling where you're feeling, I see you as a native warrior, trusting that there will be enough food, trusting that the weather will hold up, trusting that your family is safe, because you're wise, you're experienced, and you're knowing. This version of you is accessible. It's there within you. For some of you, it's been hiding your entire life. For some of you, you tap into it from time to time. But either way, I want you to picture yourself as that rock, that wise one who has seen it all. And yet, even those who have seen it all can be surprised, excited, and joy-filled when the thing happens that they didn't expect. Having trust and faith is different than feeling safe. For some, they can't trust or have faith until they feel safe. Well, I'm sorry to explain it like this, but we're humans. We don't ever really feel safe. It's not really part of the deal. So you can wait until you feel safe, or you can go ahead right now and have faith and trust that everything always works out exactly as it's supposed to. When you're ready to trust in who you are and what your journey is, then you can open your eyes. Thank you for participating in this meditation. The activation was to help you access trust more than you have before. Please leave a comment below and let me know how the meditation was for you. And if you have any suggestions about future meditations. I've been doing this for a while now, and so extra help, extra ideas are always welcome. I love you unconditionally, and I'll see you in the next video.